The United States is going to be seizing control of a midtown Manhattan skyscraper here in New York that prosecutors are saying is secretly owned by Iran. Or I guess it was secret up until the prosecutors figured it out and made it public. The U.S. Justice Department says that the ruling will be appealed, but that they have determined this building is secretly owned by Iran. It's a 36-story building in the heart of New York City, right on Fifth Avenue. And the allegation is that in violation of sanctions on Iran, the money, the ownership, the money that comes in, they've been able to track has been going to a bank in Iran. And that this just simply violates the sanctions on Iran. The prosecutors allege that the building's owners, the Alavi Foundation and Assa Corporation, are transferring rental income and other funds to Iran's state-owned Bank Melli. This is interesting for a couple of reasons, Lewis. Number one, how much of the U.S. is owned by Japan and China? And just in general, I think most Americans would be surprised to know the amount of real estate and the amount of wealth, American wealth in real estate, currency, that is held by other countries. I think probably people have no idea of that.
That could very well be, but those same sanctions might not exist in the countries we're talking about.
That's very true. No question about it. But then further, if you have 36 grams of marijuana, the feds find you, they take you out, you're in prison. If you have a 36-story building in downtown Manhattan, it takes 30 years to figure it out. Isn't there something a little off about this?
That is quite bizarre. Yeah, you would think that money is monitored closely in the financial capital of the world, but then again, looking back over the past 10 years, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. So have you talked to your dad at all? Lewis's dad is from Iran. Lewis is he's half Iranian, half Jewish. Your dad, I guess, is from a Muslim family, but he certainly doesn't consider himself a practicing Muslim, as you've said. Has he commented lately about, either in the context, I know Lewis doesn't really talk to his dad that much, but not for any particular reason other than he seems quite bored by it. Has he talked at all about the Syria connections that are being made to Iran, sanctions, or anything at all related to his home country?
No, and we've never really talked about anything along those lines, except for many years ago when he went to Iran to visit, and
Right.
it was interesting all the loops he had to jump through to do that. But no real talk of that.
There is this understanding that in spite of everything that's going on with those in power in Iran, the overwhelming majority of just the average citizens are very moderate and really are not being represented by a government, some would call it a regime, that is accurately portraying their views. There seems to be just a gigantic disconnect in Iran, Lewis, between the people and the bureaucracy.
Which, of course, is a good thing. If everyone were on the same page as the bureaucracy, as their leader, that whole country would be in a much worse place.
Are you interested in going to Iran?
Oh yeah, of course. I'd love to, but it seems like it doesn't really make sense.
Would you have any particular trouble having a Jewish mother, being Jewish?
No, I think that would probably go completely under the radar. I mean, my last name is obviously Iranian, and my middle name, no one would be able to realize that was a Jewish name. But I would have to basically pay my way to avoid being put into their military. And
even if you just showed up for like a week, you might get drafted into the military.
Right. I would have to pay for that not to happen, and anything can in reality happen.
So how would that happen? I mean, you've always been a U.S. citizen. You would show up and what? Someone would say, oh, you're here visiting. You're in the military now?
Your father is from Iran. You're in the country. You're of age. You need to serve. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Wow. And what's the upper limit on the serving age?
That I do not know.
All right. Well, let's investigate that. Very, very interesting stuff. So there it is. U.S. to seize an Iran-owned New York skyscraper. We will continue to follow it and see what happens in the appeals process. Facebook.com/David Pakman Show. Let's take a break. Mike Papantonio is next We will talk about, is there really a working progressive movement in this country that is having some success, or is there not? Stay with us.